Previously. X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Happy Halloween, X-Goons. It's our Halloween special here on X-Rated, the X-Men
Good start.
The X-Men Halloween. Take over for me, Andre. I'm going trick-or-treating.
Are you?
I'm just kidding. It's Halloween special on X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. I am your host, Davin Van Skelsing. And with me, as always, on Dracula.
Yeah, our names didn't overlap tonight. They overlapped in a good way.
And mine is awesome. Davin Van Skelsing.
I think Dracula's pretty good, too.
It's all right.
Oh, it's all right.
I almost went with Davula, and I was just like, no.
Well, that would work, too.
Van Skelsing, that's perfect.
Van Skelsing is pretty good.
Happy Halloween from Sam. Happy Halloween, Sam. All right. Well, we're here. It's like, because Halloween is the best time of the year. We're here to review Uncanny X-Men 159 and X-Men Annual number 6, as they are the Vampire Storm issues. And we all know that I love Storm on this show. I love Halloween. This is beautiful alchemy here. And on top of that, my probably favorite all-time comics writer. I mean, if you go on the, entirety of their work, Chris Claremont, and my favorite artist, Bill Sienkiewicz. This is going to be a glorious time. So here's the covers here. Oh, and I also threw the X-Men Classic cover up there. Check that out, Andre, just because it's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, the classic covers. Mike Mignola.
X-Men reprint.
That's Mike Mignola of Hellboy.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
No, it is. It says in the corner.
It's
Mignola.
in the bottom.
Yeah, he did work he did work there as well.
Oh, yeah. So that looks great. And, of course, the Sienkiewicz cover on the actual issue there looks amazing. Hi, Lulu. Lulu says hi, Andre.
Hello, Lulu. I'm trying to get back to the issue in the...
And, of course, we've got Annual number 6, another Sienkiewicz cover there. It's just gorgeous stuff. This is going to be a feast for the eyes and the brain here. It's like
the brain.
It's Halloween candy in so many forms here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It was fun reading this. There's actually, I wouldn't call this comics. I find it hard for comics to be scary in quotes because nothing. It's like reading a horror novel. They don't really scare you in the sense that something's going to pop out of you like a movie can, because it actually can surprise you. But there's some generally creepy moments. There's one particular one in the annual that I liked a lot. But yeah, it was pretty great. It's a lot of fun. I'm just trying to get back to this.
If we've seen the Universal Monster movies.
Of course, most of them.
Yeah.
I just watched Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein for Halloween, which is a really, really fun movie.
I gotta watch that.
It's a blast. You got Bela Lugosi back as Dracula for the only the second time. He's only been Dracula in 2 movies, the original and that one.
He's played Frankenstein as many times as he's played.
yeah, and then Glenn Strange, the second most famous person to play Frankenstein, plays the creature. And you got Lon Chaney Jr. back as the Wolfman, playing the same character, Larry Talbot. And you even have a brief cameo from Vincent Price doing the voice of the Invisible Man, which is very funny. So
that's good casting. Actually.
It's a great little series.
That's funny.
It had a pretty cognizant story too. Like Dracula wants to use Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's a little too willful, so they want to get Lou's brain to put it in the Frankenstein monster so that he's more docile and kind of easy to sort of manage. So it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, one time a few years ago, I just posted on Facebook or whatever. I cast the X-Men with the actors of the Universal Monsters, and I had
Oh, what? Why didn't we do that? That would have been so much fun for us to do.
Well, we're gonna do something like that tonight.
No,
in our extracurriculars. But that one I already did. I had Lon Chaney as Wolverine and Lugosi
makes sense.
And Karloff as Magneto and Xavier.
Well, of course.
And yeah, so it was all pretty obvious. So it's like,
was Karloff Magneto or Xavier?
I had him as Magneto.
I think Lugosi would be better Magneto. Karloff actually can be good, a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's also got that European accent, right? Which sounds like vaguely
Lugosi
wherever
does,
Magneto's from. Yeah, I mean Karloff's English, so you got that. But
Yeah, it's true. Well, that can be switched. At least I think that's how I had it. And geez, I don't remember who I had it on the rest of them.
I need you to remember every single one.
Well, I'll go look up the post. I mean, I'm sure
I'm kidding. It's all good. Your cat's also purring very loudly,
I know.
which is very cute.
She's very sweet.
No.
Well, oh geez, now I'm bugging myself on who I cast. Oh yeah, I had Toad was played by, what was it, Fritz Lang, or who was that his name? Who played?
No, Fritz Lang's the director of Metropolis.
Oh, Fritz something. It's the guy who played Igor, or not Igor, but the original one, because Bela Lugosi played Igor.
Oh, Fritz was his name in the original one.
Yeah, Fritz, the guy.
But I don't know what the actor's name
I
was.
forget his name. Yeah, I had him as Toad. Yeah, so a bunch of different stuff there. But we'll do a game similar to that in extracurriculars tonight, so that'll be fun. You had anything Halloween you want to chat about before we get going there? David Cutler was going to join us, but as all professional artists, they're always under a time crunch. So he said,
I just want, if he's listening, I want him to know that he's failed us.
Yeah,
And may never forgive him for this this horrible
I'm sure
betrayal of our trust and faith. And he's scum. And I hope he dies. I hope he dies. I hope he dies in a fire. I'm kidding,
Fire.
David.
Fires
If you're
can happen
listening,
too
we
easily.
love
Like,
you.
make it
We
something
love
that's
you,
not
buddy.
gonna happen.
Hope he dies of flesh-eating disease.
That's probably less likely than
Which, surprisingly enough, two people in my realm have gotten, like, not like from close people, but two people that are sort of one or two people removed from me have died of that, or been really hurt from that recently. One died from it, so I'm like super terrified of it
Flesh-eating
now.
disease or that
Yes.
New Brunswick brain-eating disease?
Flesh-eating disease.
You live a little too close to New Brunswick. Take care of yourself from that.
I do. I'm not close to the old brain disease in Moncton. No, it was a friend of mine's brother who was like in his 60s or 50s, died because he had his leg basically amputated all the way up, and he died from complications of it. And then someone else I knew was in the hospital. Actually, the guy, well, I don't want to say people's names because you might know him, and also it's probably not good to just throw it out there in the world. But he posted something about being in the hospital. He runs a business in Halifax, and I was talking to him, and it turned out he had like flesh-eating disease in his leg, and apparently if he'd waited a little longer before going in, he would have definitely lost like from his foot to his knee probably.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, do you know where you got it? And he's like, no idea. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That is
Fucking terrifying, man. Yes.
wow. Wonder where those come from.
Oh, like water, I think, depending where you're at, or some
dirty
cut,
water.
small cut infected or something. Like, it doesn't take much, but Jesus Christ.
Amoebas,
It's all-
man. Don't mess around. But should we get into it then?
No, I think we're good. I mean,
What are you gonna do for Halloween?
Storm fights Dracula. That's about it. That's all you need to know. It's, good story. Halloween. I'm gonna watch some horror movies with some friends. I think I don't normally get any kids over, so I think I might just chill and throw in some horror movies. I got a group of friends that want to come over, and yeah, it might be fun.
Maybe we'll try to find a day to sneak in that hold up episode too.
Oh yeah. What that was. I busted my
know.
ass to watch
I
those
did too.
videos in time too, and that's when he messed me. I was like, "What?" I was like, I busted my butt to watch those in time. I mean, it's all good. I understand he made a mistake. It's fine, but
Well,
I did watch them
much
all.
like our friend David Cutler, our friend Murphy is scum, and he
No, we love
probably
Murphy.
died
Murphy,
from
you were really hard on poor
What?
Murphy on Hold Up, so
You're
I feel
hard
as
on
though,
David Cutler.
yeah, not really. I think they were aware that I was joking. I feel like if I ever hear of anyone in my close circle that had a murder suicide, it would be you and Murphy. So it would be the one. That would be the someone be like, you'll never guess which of your friends just did a murder suicide. David and Murphy? No, it's this person.
That could only go one way because I would never murder Murphy or myself. So if that ever happens,
Well, I think he just snapped because you fucking put him through hell every time. He's like,
Exactly.
yeah, on your podcast, you're like, I disagree, and only morons would like this movie. He's like, well, I like this movie, and you're like, you're a moron. It's like,
hey,
Jesus.
anyone
Christ.
who likes Southland Tales is a moron. I don't mind.
It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad, but all right,
It's been a long time since I watched it.
it's not good. But let's get into this. Uncanny X-Men 159, shall we? I got the issue in the flesh right here.
I have the digital version of the issue right here.
I mean, any opening thoughts? I mean, I guess my opening thoughts.
The art's great.
It's Sienkiewicz. It's so great. And the funny thing about seeing
It's so weird seeing him do regular stuff. I'm so used to his crazy painted stuff.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about too. But he sneaks those in, right? Like
oh yeah, in the annual specifically.
Like he sneaks this in. He's just like, I just gotta be Sienkiewicz for a minute. So he does like that beautiful storm sort of portrait.
Well, what point did he become the Sienkiewicz we know him as with all the painted stuff?
Always.
Was it Arkham Asylum? No, it was before that. Okay.
I mean, he was doing that stuff in New Mutants, right? And
right, the covers, but oh no, the interiors too.
The interiors too, with some of that weird lead.
But that was after this, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's what I think. I feel like they did this, and they're just like, is there? Or he would maybe even he said it. I don't know. Is there something I can be a little more Sienkiewicz on or something? And they're like, well,
I'm sure that's how the conversation went.
Exactly.
Can you be more Sienkiewicz?
Exactly. So
boy, can I?
Can I?
Of all the Sienkiewiczes, I'm the most.
Well, how about this like trippy New Mutants character? You want to write a story about that? Like, do some crazy demon bear art and all that good stuff. Like, perfect. But it is interesting to see him do superhero stuff. Like, you know, I wouldn't call it standard. It's still like A+++ level because it's Bill Sienkiewicz doing. But you know, it's him trying to do standard.
No, mine's so vibrant and colorful compared to yours. Look at this.
I'll take my paper copy.
I agree. I would like to have a paper copy too, but I don't. So this is how I can do it. My first thought is I really don't like this part of Wolverine's costume design in this iteration. Look at that line straight across the back of his neck to show the different color of the top of the head from the bottom part.
Oh, that is...
It's not a mistake. It's in the next panel too, if you look behind. See the top?
I've noticed a few... I don't want to go throwing shade here, but it seems like the color are messed up on a few things.
Maybe, because look at that. There, you see it in the back there too. It just looks bad design-wise. It's like a straight line. It looks like he's bald from behind.
I don't know if it's the same colorist in the annual.
And it even shows it over here too, right? So it's definitely like, see when he's sitting on the couch?
Like,
so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it shows it everywhere. It's just a weird design.
That is a weird design. Because there is a panel where it says midnight, and then it's just clearly a day shot underneath.
Oh.
So like, they clearly just did, the colorist or whoever didn't make it look like night.
Yeah, I know.
Like, so there's a few coloring issues. I mean, maybe it's not that easy to color Sienkiewicz because it's so awesome.
Well, Glennis Ween is listening. You fucked it. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Glennis Ween, wife of Glenn Ween.
I don't think that's true.
I think that is true.
Glynis? Really? There's a Glenn Ween and a Glennis Ween that were married to each other?
Well, I think she used to be Glennis Oliver, and then I might be wrong with that.
This is an expose. How was Glennis and Glenn are together?
No, Len Ween, not Glenn Ween.
Oh, at least said Glenn Ween. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No.
She was Glennis Oliver, yes, and then she married Len Ween.
Glennis Oliver, and then married Len Ween. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's been around a long time. I get comics with Glennis Oliver in it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Rather fetching lady from the picture on the Marvel database.
Well, there you have it. I mean, Len Ween is a legend.
That's true.
I'm sure he can attract a attractive lady.
Yeah, sure.
God, the art's just so good. Like, I love the way he does Nightcrawler. Like, even that opening shot with the teleportation there, and Misty Knight.
The little, like, I'd asked Davin if this was
Misty Knight, actually.
If I was reading. No, this is not Misty Knight. It is her roommate.
Yeah, it's her roommate.
Harmony Young.
Harmony Young.
So the X-Men are busted. Well, let's just go through it. So the X-Men are busting in this apartment, surprising this woman because they're going to look at meet Misty Knight. I thought it's all kind of like comes out of nowhere at the beginning. I thought perhaps I was reading these out of order, but Davin informed me I was not.
The Uncanny was always like that during the Claremont area.
They would just open up with like the middle of a story, kind of.
Yeah, it always just picked up. Like the Claremont era is like one story. It's just like there's not a lot of separation between issues. Like they all start like that. Like I've heard some people that kind of knock him for that, but I don't know. I think it's
no, it's cool. It's so, like we read the second page, you kind of get what's going on.
It's ahead of its time.
Yeah. So we found out that Wolverine basically goes off to get a beer. They find out who this woman is. She's the roommate of Misty Knight, and they're like ready to leave.
Wolverine just starts stealing her beer.
Basically,
He's
yeah.
gonna go find all her beer.
And he's like drinking several of them, it says, so he's like just into it.
Slowly, because he only has 6, so it's like a really slowly 6 beers late. Drank 6 beers later. I'm gonna say what 159 here. Like the annual 159 have different charms, but I think 159 is like Claremont at like the peak of his powers. I really think this one's well written, and it was kind of peak Claremont era.
Yeah, for sure. Kitty Pryde recognizes the woman as Misty Young. She's a fashion designer, I think. Yeah, top fashion model, rather, in New York. Harmony Young, sorry, who is the roommate of Misty. They're ready to leave because Misty's not there and they're going to see her. But Harmony says if they're friends of hers, they're friends of hers. So she invites them to stay.
The dragon, that Misty, how she is.
Yeah. So Wolverine reminds Kitty that she has to go meet her parents that evening when Storm and her go along, but they didn't bring their clothes with them. So Harmony outfits.
But you don't really realize it until you read the annual. But that might be a bit of a setup for the annual.
Yeah, maybe so. We don't really know anything about her parents really at this point. I mean, in this issue, so probably you've got to know them previously. But it's also like, yeah. So basically, she's getting ready to go, and then Aurora didn't know Aurora's going to go with her, and then Harmony gives them their clothes. We get a little side clip of Havoc and Cyclops hanging out in the desert, where Havoc's been training to use his powers better. And their dad is, of course, visiting. I'm guessing they've recently been reunited at this point with Corsair. But it's only like that. It's like maybe a page and a half. We see what's going on with them, and that's it for this issue. So
that's classic Claremont stuff too. Like, because there's so many characters, and that's what's great about the X-Men. I like that in X-Men storytelling because they're just so many characters they're following around, but it all comes together in like the big climaxes or the crossovers.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I gotta say, this is peak X-Men for me too, because if you count Cyclops, who is in this book, this is my 6th favorite X-Men characters on this roster.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's like a really classic version. And it was cool that they did the throwback in X-Men 97 to all their costumes. This is pretty much, I was thinking about it, and I was like, pretty much all the costumes they wear in that are from this run, so.
Wouldn't it be funny if 97 they gave Wolverine that funny yellow back of the helmet kind of thing you're talking about?
I gotta hope not. Or Colossus shows up in the classic costume like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't think, he never really had the costume in the 97 series, did he? Because he was always just being a Russian guy that just was wrapped up in some story.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I imagine they'll deliver that at some point too.
Yeah.
What if they introduce Kitty eventually as well? Who knows, in a different way.
I hope it'll just have to be in like an adult version or something.
Yeah, but you'll hate it because it's not exactly like the comic.
What? She's an adult in the comic.
Not when she first joined the X-Men. She weren't.
I already can't have pure. I don't want pure like the same as.
I know. I just tease you because of your dogmatic love of Wolverine stature.
Yep, that's right.
So Kitty gets back from.
Jackman's gonna be there till he's 90 now.
That's right. Till you're 90. There's rumor that there might be a secret Deadpool Christmas special coming out.
I hadn't heard that. I heard they're already working on the sequel to Deadpool Wolverine.
Because there's clips of like a Blind Owl on set with Ryan Reynolds, and the whole background is all done up like Christmas in their apartment.
Huh.
So there's a rumor that perhaps they secretly filmed a Christmas special that they're going to drop as a surprise, in December.
You think they'd want to hype that up a bit, but whatever.
Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but a rumor. So anyway,
I mean, I hope it's better than the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
What?
You liked?
You're insane, sir. You are fucking insane. That is a really, really good special. It was super good.
I gotta go watch it again this year.
It's super good, man. You're crazy.
I didn't like the music. I didn't like the whole like go find Kevin Bacon plot. I just found it a little too silly. Yeah.
I do not understand you, sir. It's a Christmas special. What do you want it to be? Fucking.
I don't know.
Someone dies of cancer? Like, come on. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be light. It's supposed to be about them trying to bring Christmas to Star-Lord.
Than Kevin Bacon.
It was great.
There was a nice moment at the
The
end.
song
with
about
the
Christmas
family
they sing is fantastic. The song at the beginning that the band plays about what they understand Christmas to be based on legend and story about Earth is really funny. I don't know, man. You're nuts. First time we see Cosmo, it was
Is it
great.
the first time we see Cosmo?
Well, you saw her. We didn't know it was her before, but in a tube at the collector's place before.
Oh, right.
But this is the first time you heard her talk. I don't know, man. It was really fun.
I'll watch it again this year. Maybe we'll talk about it then.
Kitty calls in to check in, let them know that she had her parents and everything's fine, and then they're asking where Storm is because she hasn't come back, and she said she left hours ago. Then we see her get rushed into the hospital because she is laying in an alley with a wound on her neck. Colossus and Wolverine run in. Wolverine's looking pretty stylish, I must say, with his little blazer, white shirt, khaki pant combo.
Not bad. Look at that. Man,
Yeah.
not too bad.
The nurse tells her
This art
that
is so good, though. It's just so.
the nurse
people so good, and they all look different. Like every person looks different when he draws them. Which
Yeah,
is
they do
the
really.
case with all artists, right?
Not necessarily, no. The nurse tells her that she had her throat cut or slashed. But
something.
you know, seeming and she was.
Slashed?
They do say slashed a few times.
I'm a common mugger.
She seems to have been recovering rather quickly. When they go into her room, she's already up and about and wants to leave. That night, she has dreams that she's wearing, a white robe and being visited by someone through a window.
Before we get there, the reason she wants to leave the hospital is because this is the era of the X-Men where, I think it was by going through the Siege Perilous or whatever, but maybe the Lady Roma granted it to them. Anyway, everyone in the world thinks the X-Men are dead. So that's why they're hiding their identities.
Well, she mentioned there was some stuff in her blood that they couldn't answer for, and that was because, she's mutant, so they didn't want to hang around too long for that to get out.
Yeah, because then people will know the X-Men are alive again.
Yeah, but how do they not, like, when they see the X-Men, like, doing stuff on TV and fighting monsters and shit, do they not say anything?
They've been right low key about that since this whole thing happened, right? Like they haven't been wearing their costumes as much when they go out, and like a lot of their fights have been like kind of isolated things. They haven't had big fights in Times Square or anything since the mind wipe of everybody.
How often has the entire world been mind wiped, do you think?
I don't know.
They did it they made it so everybody forgot who Spider-Man was. They did it, I think, so everyone forgot who Tony Stark was at one point, because that's what Spider-Man went to him before to do the same thing. Yes, a lot of times the whole world gets wiped. It's almost as if people write themselves in corners, and then other writers try to write themselves out.
What?
Almost.
Who told you this?
I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it just seems. I mean,
Who have you been talking to over there on the Graphic Histories?
Just got a hankering,
With such nonsense.
Somebody, obviously. Somebody's telling me some things.
Was it David Cutler?
No, he's been in the show in a while.
Okay.
All right. So then, Storm, is having some gnarly dreams. They come in.
This is where we get that great image that gets a little more Sienkiewicz. Oh man, it's beautiful.
Kitty gets back, and the X-Men toward the Storm's seeming weird.
I gotta say, Gail Simone made a post the other day, and I agree with her 100%. She's just like, sometimes I feel like there's like a million great artists in the world, and Bill Sienkiewicz looking down at them all from the peak that he like is perched upon. Man, like, I don't know, he's one of a kind, man, Bill Sienkiewicz, especially when you get into his painting stuff. Like, if you just follow him on the social medias, he's constantly posting the portraits he just paints of people, and they're just stunning and gorgeous.
Yeah,
they're also interesting. Nothing's like basic. Everything's just Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz.
That's awesome.
Sienkiewiczified.
Like my Guardian. Like, can you see those? Maybe I'll pull them off the wall later. But I got my Guardians of the Galaxy set of Sienkiewicz paintings that I won at Fan Expo over there, and they're pretty great interpretations of those characters. Yeah. Like Groot looks like a horror villain. It's pretty cool. But, Bills and
Think
cookies.
if he did the portraits of them from this holiday special, maybe he'd like it.
Yeah, I would.
So yeah. So then Kitty checks in on Rogue, or Storm, who is kind of anemic, and the light is sensitive to her. She has a new scarf, a new fashion scarf that has a stylized D on it. Yeah, which
She loves me.
because her visitors appeared to her. There's one interesting fact about Storm. There's one interesting fact about Storm from the annual I want to bring up too. But then Kitty's recognizing the signs of her being perhaps turning into a vampire, because like the Kitty Star of David necklace is bothering her as well.
No
So
one else has noticed this. They just think she's sick.
yes, but then after Kitty
Wolverine
leaves, Storm.
just thinks she's like giving up on life. She's just like, she just wants to die now.
Wolverine's like, let's let her.
Yeah.
Then she's visited again in the night by the person that is making her this way, who is Dracula, of course. Kitty, suspecting that Dracula had some hand in what was going on, because Dracula is a known figure in the Marvel Universe, appears dressed. I love how Kitty like took time to go dress in her in like a
Indiana Jones.
in her Indiana Jones / vampire hunter outfit with a cross. The cross, of course, does not affect Dracula because it only works if you're a believer.
She's a Jew.
He does call her a Hebrew.
He does.
And then attacks her, but then the necklace on her throat, when he grabs her by the throat, the necklace burns him, so he drops her and runs away. Storm, of course, hits Kitty out of the way because she wants to follow her master, because she's being under his influence, and runs off with him.
They return to that theme a lot too, about like being a true believer.
Yes.
Different artifacts work.
Yeah, they do a good job of playing it up with everybody that's here. Also, as Wolverine, we'll come to learn in the comic, Wolverine is not a believer. So his dabble into religion, in the X-Men '97 cartoon, perhaps may not be.
If you lived Wolverine's life and you were religious, you believed in God, you would hate God, because Wolverine's seen a lot of torture and pain and.
No, you should hate humans.
Suffering and
According to the Bible, it is humans that do that, not God, Davin. He has a grand plan, and it's all for all of us, but somehow we're still allowed to just murder and rape and kill each other whenever you want. It's all part of the grand plan, but he loves you. He loves you.
Right,
and if you get raped and murdered...
10 minutes.
He loves you, but if you're raped and murdered, it was all part of his plan. But he still loves you, just remember that. So, Kitty lets the group know what's going on, shows them the scarf, saying that maybe they want to try to track her.
Serenity was here last night during the trivia game. I'm being called out on my return hat.
That's all right.
That's true.
I can't believe you wore the same outfit 2 days in a row, Devin. That's how embarrassing.
Right. I have another costume.
No, you wear that one all the time, too.
No, but I'm just going to put a twist on it. Ready?
You gonna wear the hat on top of it?
No. This is going to be good. Ready?
Okay. Pirate Wolverine.
Who am I? I'm Yarverine. Yar.
Jesus Christ.
Yar, Bob.
Disgusting.
We be pillaging and,
Plundering?
Kill Harley on the yardarm. Yar. No?
Jesus.
Okay.
All right. So they use Wolverine to try to track down using her senses, but there's like a horrible fog that's kind of going around. It comes with Dracula. They manage to track him down to a giant castle in the middle of Central Park, which seems to be okay. Is there a castle in Central Park I'm unfamiliar with?
What? Is that where that was? Is that what's happening here? Oh, wait, there they are.
She says, I know we're in Central Park, but where are we? Unless you keep her voice down.
The castle is a couple miles uptown, I'll have you know.
She says, I know we're in Central Park. So it must be the castle moves.
I guess so, huh?
Because they call it Belvedere Castle.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't catch on that for some reason.
Are you reading these books, man? What's going on here?
I must have just glossed over that. But
actually, Belvedere Castle is a castle in Central Park in New York City. So there you go.
Boom. Done.
Yep. He's just taking up residence in Belvedere Castle in Central Park.
On Belvedere.
Apparently Dracula is wherever he goes, he needs a castle to stay in. So
I've never heard of this castle in Central Park before.
If you Google it,
reading X-Men.
It says Belvedere Castle is a folly in Central Park in Manhattan.
Wikipedia, I use X-Men comics from the 80s to learn my information.
But then you don't
There's
learn
different
what Belvedere
ways.
Castle is. You just learn that it is there. You don't know anything about it. You don't learn that it has exhibition rooms, an observation deck,
That
the
probably
weather
is in
station.
160. That probably gets picked up in Uncanny 160. Where you
It does
learn
not.
about Belvedere Castle.
I highly doubt that.
No.
So anyway, they're attacked by various creatures of the nights, rats and wolves
Yeah.
and other wild dogs. As
They
they,
really flex Dracula's powers in these 2 issues, which I like. They show you a lot of the different things that he can do.
they sure do. Nightcrawler goes in to attack him, but Dracula knocks him out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Wolverine fights.
That's not a good fight for Night.
Wolverine fights the dogs and all that stuff. Do you remember when we had a conversation?
Fight for Wolverine.
It is a great fight. Do you remember when we had a conversation a while back, and I made a joke about how, that Colossus has to grab Wolverine by the ass to throw him for the fastball special, and you said
I
that's
said
not how
he
it works.
stands on his hands. Yes, I know he grabs him. But I knew
What do you see? What do you see happening right
This was coming.
here,
Prepared for
right there?
Yes, he
It's
grabs
very
him by the
clearly,
buttocks.
very
He
clearly,
grabs the owner's two
very
cheekies.
clearly. That is how the fastball special is done, sir.
Because
I just like to
I'll
point
tell
out,
you
I was
why.
very
I'll tell
happy
you the
and validated.
difference. No. They do both. And I'll tell you the difference. When he's going for a high lob, he stands on his hands. But Dracula's standing right in front of him, so he can't, do the jump thing. And he just... That's the difference.
Regardless of what the reasoning is, it's very clearly, very, very clearly. So much, in fact, it's a big old handful of Wolverine butt.
You can't see the thumb of Colossus either, so we don't.
That's true. We don't know where the that's true. He just sticks it in.
Exactly.
Wow.
Oh, geez.
This is quite an episode.
Are we scrutinizing this issue too in depthly?
No, we're having fun. That's the point of the show.
Okay.
So
Wolverine.
Damn
it, Pete!
Wolverine gets fastball special at him, and he just turns to miss. So Wolverine just lands on his face. Then Colossus
All
goes
the
to.
shit they do is just woefully inadequate for fighting Dracula. Which is
Yeah, it shows how you're right. It does show how powerful he is. He's pretty good at taking down almost all the X-Men without much issue.
Colossus here, he throws a full punch at him, and he just
And he just throws Colossus through some trees.
Yeah.
Wolverine tries to make a cross with his claws, but once again, he's not a believer, so it doesn't bother Dracula.
It was a good idea. I was like, as soon as he did it, I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. But no.
However, Nightcrawler is a believer and grabs some sticks and This is what I mean. They do some good stuff with this because Nightcrawler's like, I am a believer, and uses the sticks to make a cross, which makes him go back into depart.
Oh, but then what Dracula does to Nightcrawler here is so cool. This is so good. And the art is so good. I mean, it doesn't really come through on the camera so well, I guess. But
Kitty finds Storm, and Storm's under Dracula's power and ready to attack her, but Kitty believes that the good...
jumping ahead.
How am I jumping ahead?
What he does to Nightcrawler there. So he starts chasing Nightcrawler with lightning bolts. So wherever, Nightcrawler keeps teleporting, and as soon as he, rematerializes somewhere, a lightning bolt immediately comes down at him. So he has to keep teleporting. So he's just running away from these lightning bolts by teleporting until he's getting exhausted doing it. So it's he has a conundrum about to happen here. It's crazy cool stuff. It'd make it great. I want to see this as a Halloween special.
The way that DC does these really, really cool adaptations of comic book stories that are really, really well done. I like to see Marvel do something similar. I guess they have
that kind of Mask of the Phantasm type stuff.
No, all of they're just doing the Christ Infinite Earth story now. They did the Dark Knight. They did DC New Frontier. They just pick big storylines, then make an animated movie out of it, and they're all really good. So this would make for a pretty cool one. But anyway, or just a great episode of X-Men 97 if they want to do it in a future issue. Episode. There you go. She liked Yarvarine.
Yay, Yarvarine.
So Kitty finds Storm is putting holy water in Dracula's coffin in case he comes back to it.
Another one. Check this one out. Hey.
Okay. I'd love to get through this episode at some point tonight, Devin. Skullverine.
Look, it's Skelverine.
You still can't.
Real Skelverine.
You can't even help yourself by saying Skell because it's your last name. Skullverine works just as well.
It didn't work so good. That one didn't work so good.
It's all right. If you put it underneath that mask, it'd probably be better.
Oh, wonder if that'll work. All right, I'm going to try Skelverine again. You keep going.
We're trying to... This is some great audio podcast right here.
Well, you're supposed to be talking.
Yeah, I know, but it's 200. It's distracting watching you put this fucking
what
mask.
did I do?
You got the... Oh my god.
Yeah. Here we go. Skelverine.
All right, let's see this. Much better. It's like, yeah, it looks kind of like one of the Marvel Zombies me.
This is
Very
actually
nice.
pretty good. This might have to be my Halloween costume.
There you go. Done.
Skelverine.
You owe me $10 for the idea.
All right. I'm back.
All right.
I'm back,
so,
baby.
Kitty's going to stake Storm. Storm's going to attack her. Kitty doesn't want to kill her friend.
Kitty doesn't mess around. She's like, oh, Storm's a vampire. Gotta kill her. Gotta kill her.
Well, no, she does mess around because she drops the stake and says, if you're going to kill me, then I'll let you do it.
That's true. That's
because she's appealing to Storm's inner humanity.
And I love that it highlights the love between those two. Where like Storm's like a mother figure to her, like at least an older sister.
That's true. Storm reappears shortly after to join Dracula and fighting the X-Men, but then we find out it's a ruse, as she has broken power. Her love of Kitty has overpowered Dracula's control over her, and she gets in a big aerial battle with Dracula in bat form.
Yeah, Dracula goes in bat form in this one.
Like in an anthropomorphic bat form. He looks a lot like Man-Bat here, actually.
Yeah,
but I like that he's like a dark blue or like a black color, which is cool.
Yeah.
While they're fighting, he kind of crashes through the window of a restaurant that's on the top level of the floor and takes a woman as a hostage.
He says, then rip this cow's throat out.
And Storm says that she'll never be a slave. She was born free, and she'll remain free. And Dracula says that in all of his journeys, he's never tasted someone with blood quite like hers. She has rare strength and qualities that attracted him to her, and as she has bested him, he will allow her to go and free her of his control.
He even bows, because Storm can make anybody bow. Dracula, Dr. Doom, Storm is the peak.
He says, I knew from the moment I tasted your blood that you were a woman of rare beauty, rare courage, rare strength. These qualities attracted me to you. Now they have defeated me. When I lived, I was a prince. You were one of my handful of women I've met since worthy of being my queen. I offer worlds beyond imagination, Aurora, but I find I cannot force you to accept them. You have earned Dracula's respect and hence your life. He also calls her Wind Rider a lot.
He does, yep. She gets that a lot in these older issues.
He says, you'll never find me unless I want you to, basically, and flies off.
And then Moira calls, freaking out.
Yes, that Xavier's taking a turn for the worse. I don't know what's going on with Xavier at this point, so
he's in a coma.
Oh. Well, he's taking a turn for the worse.
Worse than coma's pretty bad.
Yeah, coma's not great. Coma's not great.
No. Well, yeah, that's this one. Do we want to give this one an X rating, or do we?
Sure.
How do we want to?
Or you want to, well, yeah, sure. Are we going to do the two stories together? Or do you want to do it all individually?
They're kind of separate stories in a way. They pick up from each other, so why don't we do them separate?
Sure.
I mean, this one, I loved this one. I probably like this one a bit better than the annual. So I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. It's Storm, it's Halloween, it's Dracula. It's so well paced. Like, all the time cuts are perfect in this issue. I mean, this is Claremont at the peak of his powers. Bill Sienkiewicz, I mean, I don't think his powers unpeak. He's just like the best artist probably on planet Earth. So, 10 out of 10. I'm glad we picked this because I was like eating it up. Like,
yeah, it's really fun. It's a really fun little Halloween comic and a good horror read.
And it's just, the art is so beautiful. It looks weird, all like brightened on your kit on your thing there, though. Like,
it's very colorful. So it's the iPad Pro.
Remaster all those like digital ones, don't they?
Mm-hmm. They look really nice.
Because like the covers often shine, but the way they make the interiors, like they must redo it. It's not dot matrix, right?
They might have to, I guess, or maybe I don't know. They use AI or something. Who knows?
Is it just brightened dot matrix? What does it look like?
Oh, it just like solid colors. Doesn't look like dot matrix at all.
Yeah. Wow, they're redoing all these. I wonder what the original colorists think about that.
This is my drawing tablet, so I do my drawing on. Look. Speaking of Halloween, check out my
What's going on there?
Creature from the Black Lagoon print I did.
You did that one a while ago, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah. It's just still on
Yeah,
here.
that's really good, though. I like that one. Like that one a lot.
Yeah, and I recently did a Spider-Man. Did I show you guys this one, the Spider-Man Venom one I did?
Yes, you did, but it's, man, one of your best ones. That's amazing stuff. Your Spidey there is top notch.
I drew that on a plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do some more. Gotta get back into drawing comics.
Especially his face.
Yeah, I like how the face turned out too.
It's a great Spidey face.
I miss the days where they used to animate him, or they used to draw him so that, like, if his eye, like his eyes would reflect his eyes. So one might be small. He's getting not really that I've noticed. I always thought that was cool.
My favorite because it made no sense, but I don't.
No, it didn't at all. But I liked it. I still liked it. Yeah, it did because
his personality as a character so well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'll give it a 10 as well. It's a pretty great comic.
It's pretty great.
I must say.
This was, man.
Yeah, like I'll show you this up close, like the color, like, see, there's no dots. It's just, it must be all recolored.
Yeah, it must be. Huh. I wonder if it says it somewhere, if you were to look in the credits of your issue there, if it's like, we retouched.
I think you can view the details. I can't figure out the controls on this thing very well. Because there's like a way, I gotta figure it out. There's a way to get the details or like the menu to come up from the top, but I don't know how exactly.
Okay.
I think if you tap it
Next
enough
up
times.
we have, actually, this picture I have on that I just brought up on the screen seems to be a little less bright than my in-person copy. But like, yeah, I think this one is the one with some defects in it, or maybe that was the 159 issue.
Issue details. Let's see if it says anything.
All right, let's see. I'm curious on how.
Writer, penciler, inker, colorist. Yeah, they don't say anything about new color.
No, but they're maybe it's just brightened though. I mean, I don't know.
Could
What
be.
about, bring it up again. Bring up the first page of the annual. Actually, yeah. Is there dot matrix on the door?
Nope.
There's no dots on the door.
Nope.
Okay, because my door is full of dots.
That's one dotted door.
Yeah, they've undotted the matrix. So, my favorite thing, a little spoiler, I guess, maybe, but my favorite thing about this issue is the Rachel Van Helsing arc.
Yeah.
It's pretty great stuff, actually. It's sad and, like, yeah. What a way to, like, kind of end the story of that character. A character that hadn't been used in a while, but a character that's been in 125 issues of comics. You know, Rachel Van Helsing's been around.
Right, she's part of Tomb of Dracula quite a bit, right?
Tomb of Dracula, yeah.
It's almost like, you know what it kind of reminds, it's kind of weird to have her story kind of get ended in this, which is like,
yeah.
you know, it's weird to me because it's like...
It's effective in this issue.
Yeah, but it's like... I guess there wasn't a Dracula comic at the time, and Claremont obviously had a love for it, so he wanted to wrap it up in when he had a chance in his story. But it reminded me of, like, the X-Files show. So the X-Files show had a spin-off called The Lone Gunman, which only had one season, which I really liked, following those characters. And then when the show ended, and season 10, 9 or 10 or whatever, 9 I think it was, the original run, and they just sort of had an issue that sort of wrapped up all of the storylines from The Lone Gunman that were left at the end of season 1 within that X-Files episode, just to kind of wrap it up. Yeah, and they did the same with Millennium, because Millennium got canceled as well, also by Chris Carter. And then they did an episode on New Year's Eve where the X-Files teams up with Lance Hendrickson's character from Millennium, and then they get to the Millennium and stop all that from happening. So it's just sort of weird that, like, it reminded me a bit of that. It was sort of like a strange way to sort of wrap it up, but at least they got a chance to do it, so it's better than nothing.
I don't know if it was like but it didn't seem to be like a wrapping up of some plot thread that wasn't finished. It's just like she's kind of moved past that, where we pick up with her and she's just like a teacher and she's trying to move.
Well, I mean, this still does end the story.
Oh yeah, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it was like quite what you're saying, where they just didn't finish their story, so they finished it.
No, not necessarily, but it's just kind of
story
strange.
felt finished, and they just made like a new one that ended her entirely. But we'll talk about that.
Yes, yes. So,
The X-Men
yeah,
books were Serenity's first introduction to the Marvel version of Dracula. And thought it was done so well with these issues. I agree, Dracula's cool in these issues.
well, they did revisit it later. There's a whole storyline with Dracula and the mutants like a few years ago, wasn't there? In X-Men comics, maybe like 10 years ago. It was a while ago now, but wasn't there like a whole Return of Dracula storyline?
I think you're right. I think there was.
Yeah, it was this whole big story arc. It was like across a bunch of
Yeah,
bunch of rounds anyway.
I think you're right about that. And had something to do with Wolverine's blood.
Yeah, I think so. Dracula had the long white hair and the ponytail and all that.
Yeah, like the Fear Itself Dracula look. That's when they first brought that look out, I think. The Fear Itself story. Which
All right, so
cool look.
we see at Bard.
Skin and stuff. Like they make him look more like a demon.
We see at Bard College, Rachel Van Helsing is asked by somebody if she is related to the Van Helsings of Dracula lore, and she tells them that that's all myth.
It's a bunch of bullshit. You kidding?
Then quietly tells herself in a thought balloon that yes, of course, she is related to the family, and she's the last living member of the line, but the vampires are all dead.
Here's a theory. Like it's probably unrelated, but I feel like this was Marvel's way of pushing the Van Helsings aside to make the Bloodstone family sort of their main.
That was a while before they got to that, wasn't it?
I don't know. The Bloodstones have been around for a while. There was like Ulysses Bloodstone, and like eventually you end up with Elsa Bloodstone. But like I don't know.
So
like,
there's
it's a
two.
weird theory, but like no, there's more.
Two Bloodstones.
There's more Bloodstones. But I don't know. I feel like because now you don't see Van Helsings used in Marvel at all. They just use the Bloodstones for that role, like the monster hunting.
Well, it's probably because they're more interested in using characters they have the rights to. Dracula's public domain, so anyone can write a
Van
Dracula
Helsing
story.
Must be too.
Yeah, he is. So anything from the Dracula book would be public domain, meaning anyone can use Dracula, which is what Marvel got away with. But also, because Dracula, I guess, is a more interesting character than Van Helsing. He's just a monster hunter, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so then she's visited by Dracula and surprised by that, of course, that he's still alive. Then we cut to Kitty having a meltdown because her parents just called to tell her that they're getting divorced. She has a real childlike reaction, and then runs in and slams the door and is all terrible.
Goes through all the child like stereotypical thoughts of such.
They do some interesting stuff with color.
Was it like?
There's some interesting stuff with color here to show rage. Like, see how she's got the red on top of the yellow?
I was about to bring that page up.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool.
Far more vibrant on yours, so maybe you should be throwing the images. But...
Well, that's fine. But anyway, then she falls asleep, basically.
I love these images on the next page of Storm. Like
that's what that's what I'm going to get to, because that's my favorite part of both these issues.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous stuff. So basically, she wakes up from her.
For a second, this had me. I'm like, oh my god, Storm's actually going around and she's biting the shit out of everybody. But then it says she's killed them, so I'm like, oh, it can't be real.
So yeah, we see Kitty wake up and then be attacked by Storm, who just shows up and bites Kitty's neck, throws her aside, leaving her dead.
Page though, with like the color changes of the panels and stuff.
I think this is like an old art house movie. How this is done with this with her here, and then showing her visit each of the X-Men and kill them using her powers, which is really cool. Like really cool.
Page up as a poster on my wall, man. Like,
well, it was more effective to me as reading it on the app, and I'll show you why. Because you don't have to do page by page; you can do panel. So when you swipe, it does this, and then shows murder. Then it's like that, and then the next murder. So it actually is pretty cool that way, in a way that it's like really like a '70s horror movie that has a really art house grind to it. I thought it was really, really neat.
That is a cool way to kind of...
Yeah, so then we see her becoming a full monster, turning into a bat creature, going to fly off to find Dracula.
Storm, look, I'm attracted to Storm in pretty much
every
way you can imagine, but not as a bat.
Storm, well, she doesn't have breasts. She kind of gets a more regular form. But anyway, she runs off to Dracula and kisses him. And then we realize two things. One... she's dreaming.
Son of a bitch, that
one, she's dreaming, and two, Storm sleeps naked, which is a fun fact that I thought you might appreciate.
She's mostly naked when she's in her room. She's in, like, yeah.
So she realizes it's a dream and runs in. She realizes the dream and runs in and checks in on Kitty, sees she's still okay. Then decides that Dracula must still have some hold over her, even though he said he didn't, and flies off to go find him.
Summoning her.
Kitty sees her do that.
Look at these old like printer errors I got, like where like the page must have got
folded
during the print.
Yeah, I had a few comics back in the day that had some fun stuff like that in it. I bought the first appearance of Hobgoblin, a Spider-Man comic, and I was so excited. And then I got home and found that it was from a guy who was selling it at a con in like St. John. And when I got home and opened it, several of the panels had been cut out. Pair of scissors. Somebody must have made a collage or something.
My Fantastic Four number 47 has like an ad cut out, like somebody had to cut out the coupon or something. But like I didn't care because that's like a super expensive book, and I got it for like $6 because of that.
Yeah,
so, like, I was like,
absolutely,
I don't care.
take the wins when you can, right?
I'll take a Kirby book for $6. Sure.
So, Kitty goes and starts recruiting the rest of the X-Men. First, she notices that Storm's taking off, and then
is it?
Don't. Why are you giving shit away? We haven't even got to that part of the story yet. It's not that part obvious.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
What is happening here when she's just like, she's like, look into my eyes, and he's just like, no, Kitty, no, please. Like,
well, you don't know what
happening?
You don't know. You don't know that she's
seducing him. Like,
could be. You don't know. It could be that something else is taking. It doesn't necessarily mean she's somebody else. It could mean someone else taking control of her. It could mean a lot of other things.
Well, I didn't say it's somebody else.
You did. I just said, you said, is it? So anyway, Kitty goes in and does something to Peter. And then we hear Peter yell, but that's what we get. We see Storm.
All that matters. She's like, what happened today is unimportant. He's like, Kitty, no, please. She's like, all that matters is tonight. And he goes, ah. Andre thinks they're just having frisky time, but that is something.
I did not think that at all. I'm saying, I know what happened because I read the story. I'm just saying you're giving shit away before we get to it in the story.
I like this.
I know you're excited, but there's a linear story here that we need to walk through as it happens.
You know, I trample all over our linear story.
I do, and it's very frustrating. As someone who was at the beginning of this show tasked by you to be the person to walk through this shit.
I tried it for 2 episodes. It wasn't working. Remember, I walked us through Night of the Sentinels, and I'm like, I have a really scattered brain. This should not be me. I need you, Andre. That's why I came to you in the first place. I'm like, I want to do an X-Men show, but I can't do that by myself.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that this happened. The genesis of the show happened the way it did.
Yep.
Anyway,
the rest is history.
Anyways,
recorded and available on the internet. History.
You can watch it all. It's all here. Yeah. So anyway, we see Storm be greeted by Beverly. Her name's Beverly, right? They fucked that up already. What was the name of Van Helsing? Rachel. So who is now Dracula's consort? Yeah, it works. Oh, Rachel Van Helsing sounds weird too. So then Dracula greets her.
I like that panel with the candles, Storm and the candles there.
Yeah, this is, once again, it's Sienkiewicz art again, and there's some nice stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's just, so good.
Yeah, we find out that Dracula has not relinquished his hold on her, even though he said he did, because it's sort of out of his hands. He needs her basically to help him with something.
Did you ever read that DC run? I'm not even sure what it's in because I'm not a DC guy, but there was a whole DC run that was like where Bill Sienkiewicz was the inker for Dennis Cowan. That must have been interesting art. It's like having Sienkiewicz ink your art. I'm sure he would sway, and Dennis Cowan's great as well. So yeah, not something to check out for you DC fans for sure. I'll check out the art.
Cool, yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Maybe it was Green Lantern or something like that. I don't know. Check it out, though. I'll look it up. You continue on. There.
So we find out that Storm finds out who the consort is, which is Rachel Van Helsing. She also finds out that what Dracula needs of her is to help him retrieve a book, which is supposed to be has a spell that will apparently erase all vampires from the earth. That he needs her help to get. So Storm gets into like full cat burglar outfit. And,
you laugh, but like that would definitely be in like the Darkhold, and it is just a page from.
Once again, we haven't gotten to the Darkhold, but yes, that is the book that they're getting to.
Well,
they're going to find.
Before that, they call it the Montesi formula, which I thought
that is true. Which people who are unfamiliar with the Darkhold comic would not know is connected to the Darkhold, because the Montesi family are the ones that were guarding the Darkhold for centuries.
Centuries?
Well, quite a while. The family of Montes, what's her name? Black woman that was blind that was in the Darkhold Redeemers group. Her name was Montesi. She was like the last in line or one of the descendants.
Yeah, it looks like Cowan and Sienkiewicz did a bunch of DC together. They did like some Rorschach stuff. They did some like The Question.
Oh yeah, The Question was great.
And so check that out, everybody. Oh, look at that art. Ooh. They did some detective comics.
Cool.
You'll see, look at this image right here. This is Dennis Cowan art on The Question, inked by Bill Sienkiewicz. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Interesting.
Yeah, the art looked really cool, and it makes sense that Sienkiewicz was a part of that.
Well,
so
this green outfit of Storm's is pretty cool too. I like Storm's green outfit there.
Yeah, like I said, it's her cat burglar outfit.
Yeah,
it's kind of like her Black Widow outfit.
And look, rocking the pouch is way before it became chic in the 90s, right?
I think Black Widow had those already.
Fashion setter. Yeah, Black Widow did. She's a trendsetter too.
So anyway, Stormbreak.
On the online today, did you see Scarlett Johansson's hand during the Endgame premiere?
No.
She has this badass like each of her rings is an infinity gauntlet, and she has one in the middle as well.
I think I remember when that happened. Yeah,
all connected by gold chains. Fuck, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I think I do remember seeing that. That was pretty cool.
Good stuff.
So I do. I remember when that happened. Yeah. So they get to the castle where
Pendero.
You couldn't stop interrupting me while I try to talk just once.
Sorry.
Just once, for fuck's sake. Every time I start, you cut me off.
Just once. I'm excited about it.
Let me get a little bit into it before you cut me off, at least.
All right, get a couple pages into her.
Thank you. So anyway, Storm breaks into Pendero Castle, which is where this thing is being held, only to be attacked by Kitty and Colossus. Kitty saying that she believes that Storm is under Dracula's power and they're trying to stop her. But they seem like they're Colossus is under Kitty's. He says Kitty commands it when he's asking why he's attacking
even
her.
Worse. He's
very much under.
Yeah.
But while Storm is distracted fighting Colossus, Kitty gets the Montesi formula, which is a book from the Darkhold, as we know. And basically, other guards that are supposed to be guarding this are there. They mentioned that this was put in a place where the dead could stop. Dracula couldn't get to it, but also it'd be harder for humans to as well.
Yeah, it's the holiest place. Yeah, that whole description was good. So they put it on the holiest place in Britain or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why, but it's some holy hill. So him and Dracula and Rachel, just on the outer grounds there, felt uncomfortable. And they're like, if we get any closer, we'll be in excruciating pain. But then they're like, the people who made this, the funny thing is, it was Rachel that did all this. Rachel set all this up, and then that's what he gets her. But she had a backup plan for that. He's like, in case Rachel ever got taken over by Dracula, and Dracula can always just enthrall humans and make them do his stuff. So then they set up a legit, technological security system on top of that.
But she even set it up to screw herself out of it in case she was. Yeah, it was really funny.
She didn't know any of the security mechanisms or anything. Yeah, it's pretty slick. A little bit of writing.
Also to show that earlier when he was trying to prove Storm does take an arrow to the back, and she tries to fly off to escape the guards, but gets woozy and is saved by Dracula. Then she has an elaborate
right out a window.
That is true. Then she has an elaborate dream sequence which she relives her parents' death.
I love
And
that
then
shot too of like Egypt.
yeah, it's cool seeing her family because I don't remember seeing pictures of them in comics in the past. So
You do, because there's so many comics where she relives this scene. They do that a lot of her, being crushed in the rubble. Like, it comes up a lot.
yeah, so Dracula believes that Kitty has the Montesi formula and is ready to turn Storm into a full vampire to help him get it back. Then he's attacked by the rest of the X-Men, who basically Kitty triggered an alarm when she stole the Blackbird and came here with Colossus. So the X-Men followed the tracker in it to get there and figure out what's going on. Then they have a big old fight with Dracula and
this is a cool
Kitty,
sequence
Colossus, yeah, and Rachel.
Like, friggin' Dracula grabs this giant spear and just throws it at Cyclops. Wolverine, like, slashes it away. It lands in Nightcrawler's hands, and Nightcrawler teleports with it right on top of Dracula, stabs him through the friggin' heart with it, and then immediately teleports away. It's so badass.
Yeah, it's a great fight sequence.
Love it.
So they can't get down to the bottom chamber, and Cyclops uses powers to bust a hole to get down to where the secret chamber is that they escaped to.
And Rachel turns to mist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's some really great power stuff here. There's a big old fight with Wolverine, and Dracula starts to take control over Wolverine and sends him after Cyclops using his powers. Storm has a more of an elaborate fight with Rachel.
And then Rachel's like turns into a werewolf.
Rachel wants Storm to kill her because she doesn't want to live this way, basically. Storm says she can't do it, basically. It's a big old fight.
At the end is beautiful too. Oh, we're not quite there, I guess.
That's cool. We're almost there. Tell me. 35 of 39 it says, but that might be different than what it says at the bottom of that one. So
no page numbers in here.
Kitty gets a hold of Nightcrawler by the neck, and then Storm stops her from hurting him. But then we find out who Kitty really is, who is Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith, that's the one. Daughter of Dracula.
Daughter of Dracula.
I didn't see that coming. Like I knew he was being controlled by somebody, but I was like, Lilith, what?
When he goes to attack Lilith for trying to do what she did to him, he's pierced through the heart by a spear thrown by Rachel, who was starting to reject his, because when he was distracted during the fight, he had lost his hold over her, and she managed to regain some of her humanity. She puts
herself for working for him.
Yeah, so she stabs him through the heart, then pulls out makes a cross.
Oh, that's crazy, man. She
melts him into goo and says that he's not fully dead unless they cut off his head. Wolverine goes to do it, but then the castle starts to fall apart, and they have to escape. In order to survive.
The timing on that. Like,
of course. He can't. He always kind of tease that he can come back.
Yeah, I do.
So she says that burning up in the sun, which is what she's waiting to do, is really painful and wants them to end it with a stake. Wolverine says that he's the guy that does this, so he does it.
I love that. That's such a Wolverine Storm. Yeah. How much they care for each other moment. And that's kind of Wolverine's, role on the team in a way. He wants to take the hit.
Well, she says, I know, Storm, I have a favor to ask. My friend's death by sunlight is slow and agonizing. Death take to the heart is quick. And Storm says, I will. And Wolverine says, no, killing's my profession. He asks if she's sure about it. And then he tells her to come in and hug him. And when she does, he stabs her.
I've almost cried. Like, these last few pages of this book are so good.
She turns to mist. This is where we find the Kitty is being controlled by Lilith the whole time.
Great art too, like she just turns into like a skull with mist, and like, oh man.
And then she says that because they helped her end her dad, which is what she wanted to do, that they're free. Basically, she freed Kitty, and that nobody will be.
Doesn't she say that she constantly tries to kill him, even though she knows she can't, but she just says.
Yeah, she needed people to help, which is what they did. So
it's so crazy, like this last little like speech of hers.
And even later, Wolverine's like looking at the sunrise or the cliff and says it's over. And Storm says, "Is it?" Mm-hmm. Teasing more Dracula stories to come.
But as she like disappears, Like Lilith, she's just like whispering that like everyone will be fine. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, Colossus will be
Yeah.
fine."
She's like, I didn't take too much of his blood, so he'll be fine.
It's
And they're
just
like
an
stormed
annual,
with
don't
Drac.
worry, it's
They're
not
like,
fucking
yeah.
up the main series.
They're like, with Dracula's death, you'll be fine. Storm is freeze hold of you. Like she just kind of wraps everything up in a few sentences and then disappears.
It's so funny.
is really
Lilith,
fun.
the expositioner.
Yep.
But all right, you go first on X rating this one.
Oh,
You know
let's
what?
give it.
Let's play the music. Let's play the tunes. We haven't played the X-rated tunes on the last one. Let's play the theme song, shall we? All right, X-rated. All right, go for it.
What? 10. It's a 10. If the last one's a 10, this is a 10.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, I think I liked 159 better, but I love that Wolverine Storm stuff at the end, and that fight scene. The last 10 pages of this annual are so friggin' good. But even the whole thing, yeah, agreed. 10. These are great comics. Go read them. Enjoy your Halloween. All right, let's move on to some extracurriculars. Oh wait, hold on. Let's stop. You want to do your movie segment?
I mean,
Screw
whatever.
it. We'll do extracurriculars first.
Isn't extracurriculars? Okay.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna throw X-Men at you. I'm gonna name off an X-Man. So here's the thing: the X-Men have all become actors. They've been bitten by the bug, and so I'm going to throw X-Men at you, and you are going to cast them in an existing horror role. Okay? You understand the assignment? So I could say Wolverine, and you could be like Freddy Krueger, but that's too obvious because of the claws,
Okay.
probably. But that's the assignment. Think you can handle her?
I think so.
All right. Let's start with. There's only one place to start. Storm.
Storm in a horror role?
Yep.
Nancy from
Nancy.
Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, she would just destroy Freddy, but I like it a lot.
It's in a dream. You can't use your powers in dreams.
Oh, she's just
Or can you?
best in every way.
Because in the first one, she like similar to this, she sort of like it's attacked by Freddy and then learns her thing, and then she comes back in the third one to teach a next generation of kids how to fight him. So it's kind of like exactly. Directed by Chuck Russell.
Oh, Dream Warriors is the best one. All right, good one. All right, Cyclops.
Cyclops, Aliens. He'd be the one from Aliens, Hicks, the guy that helps out Sigourney Weaver. Hicks is great. Michael Bihn's character.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, it's arguable that Aliens is a horror movie, but I mean, I would say so.
It's more. It kind of not. But
I mean, it's got some horror movie
I'll
elements in
accept
it. People get killed. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
I mean, Alien definitely is. So
all right, here's one. Beast.
Oh, he'd be like in World War Z, trying to figure out how to cure the virus. Not that I particularly like that movie that much, but let's say he would be in. Oh, I know. No, I know. He would be Lawrence Fishburne's character in Event Horizon. He'd be the one in the ship trying to figure out what happened to the other ship and use all his sciencey shit, and then run into
This one might be tricky, but Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler would be in The Prince of Darkness by John Carpenter. It's about a priest that discovers it mixes quantum
You have
mechanics
a for him in that?
Yeah, the priest
character,
played by Donald Sutherland, not Donald Sutherland, Donald Pleasance in the movie.
Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, it's a great movie. One a lot of people talk about the top of John Carpenter movies, but it's really good.
Hey man, Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, it's classic. Dr. Samuel Loomis himself.
Exactly. Loomis himself.
Oh my God, there it is. It almost happens around the same time every time, which is funny.
Well,
it's always like
I had that program shut off this whole time, and I just fired it up for the X rating.
Oh, there you go. That'd be why.
I shouldn't have done it. Oh well. Oh, I'll fix it one day somehow. I don't know how, but one day.
I love how you
fixed for like a year
I
and
love
a
how
half.
somebody's sound or something is off. You'll just like haggle them forever about it until they figure out what the problem is and fix it. Yet you've had this running problem for months and have not fixed it.
I'm not a techie.
Uh-huh.
I have people I rely on for these things.
Mm-hmm. And where's Murphy is right
grow
now?
tomatoes and
Sharpening a
If you want
knife.
some delicious kale or carrots, come to my house. But
I would like
don't
some.
come
I
to
just
my
made
house
a.
and
I
make
just
your
made a
food.
fine pumpkin carrot soup.
Did you?
I did.
You could've
Out
used
of
those
a
carrots
pumpkin.
and
Out
it
of a
would've
pumpkin
taken
we
it
grew, and carrots we grew.
Very good, sir. I'm very
Yes.
proud of you.
We carved the pumpkin and we used the insides to make seeds, which turned out really well, like the roasted pumpkin seeds,
Yeah.
and pumpkin soup. Some of which I might have after this is over because I'm a little hungry.
I'm a little hungry too, but I don't have any delicious homemade pumpkin soup.
Well, you want to drive down here? I'll give you some. I got lots.
I'll think about it. Maybe I'll just make one.
All right, let's shoot some more. I mean, let's go.
To pick because it's getting cold. Things are.
I want to watch horror movie before I go to bed, so I need to. Let's get this rolling.
Yeah, me too. I got to finish watching Overlord if we ever do hold up. So.
Oh, you didn't
hit up
finish the
Murphy.
movies.
Find a date that you can do it and hit up Murphy, would you?
I mean, he just said a date you're free, which means it could be.
Yeah.
There are many dates I'm free. Like, give me a time.
Pick one before Halloween if you can.
Jesus Christ, it's Thursday.
I know, but it's a Halloween episode.
Jesus Christ. No, I can't do it Thursday, so I don't know. I'll figure it out. I can't do it tomorrow either.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I guess that could
Initially
work.
supposed to be on Wednesday, so
That could work, I suppose.
All right, I'm telling Murphy. I rescheduled it for Wednesday anyway because I had to reschedule it for someday. I didn't want to make the event again, so let's just do it. All right, let me think of another good character to throw this way. Oh, here's a funny one: Arcade.
Oh, Saw. He's Jigsaw.
Kind of obvious, but it's the right choice.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Apocalypse.
I knew you were going to throw that one at me, and I was already in advance of my head trying to think of what one it would be. I mean, like the Mummy or something seems like an obvious answer.
Monster. Oh, the Mummy's kind of obvious.
Because, but I feel like it's more, I'm more like something when someone's trying to raise like a god or something from another dimension. So there's a really weird movie that I really like called From Beyond, done by Stuart Gordon, who did Reanimator. That's a Lovecraft thing,
Familiar.
where it's Jeffrey Combs. Am I
Jeffrey
pronouncing?
Combs again?
Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, and they like patch through to some universe and opens up some weird like. I don't think it's enough. There's gotta be something weirder, like.
He could be like in fucking The Cell or something.
No, well, yeah, that would be interesting, but no, that would kind of work too. But it's got to be like some elder god thing, almost like a Cthulhu-y eldritch horror thing that's like buried away and then comes out a little bit.
He could played one of those creatures in the cabin in the woods.
Life Force, that movie about the vampire. He could replace the naked woman vampire. He could be the guy walking around fucking up people because he's from space, but he also apparently in that movie the vampire myth as we know it came from these aliens that we encountered, primitive man encountered somewhere. So we'll connect to all that. I think it kind of works.
I'll throw a couple more at you because this is a fun game.
Okay. Gambit. Something with like zombies, because like Creole zombies, because of the connection to like Haiti and the French and all that stuff.
I walked with a zombie.
Yeah, that would kind of work, but I don't know. And who do you be?
I echo your sentiments with that movie, by the way. I kind of loved it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
There's I know it's I don't know who he'd be in it though, and I've actually never seen it. But there's a Sam Raimi horror movie called The Gift with Cate Blanchett where she has psychic powers and takes place in like Louisiana in the bayou. Keanu Reeves plays the bad guy in it. But that one, he would probably be the good guy in it. I don't know who the good guy is. Let's just go with that.
All right. Magneto.
Overlord. He would be. He could be someone who is exposed.
I'm digging that movie, by the way.
It's a good movie.
2/3 through it, but
I actually Wyatt Russell, who is the guy in that, the main guy, like Kurt Russell's son. Yeah, he's in a show. He was in a show that kind of got him noticed called Lodge 49. I've been watching. If you haven't seen it, I think you would really like it. It's it only had 2 seasons, but it's kind of about secret societies. It's like a guy who's kind of a beach bum who discovers a ring to like a Mason like lodge called the Lynx, and he ends up joining them, and it's about like all of their traditions and other mystery stuff. It's kind of just a really kind of fun, feel good show about sort of connection about these.
Feel good show about secret societies.
Yeah, but it's not nefarious. It's just they're discovering a
Okay.
lot of stuff connected to it as they're going along. It's really good.
Okay, I'll check.
Anyway, sorry to throw some more at me
Feel
here.
good. All right.
And Bruce Campbell's in the episode I'm just watching right now before this started, so there's that too.
Interesting. Sabretooth.
Oh, it'd be like
He's like
Jason,
He's
Friday,
like Leatherface.
Friday the 13th. He's the guy in the woods killing people.
Yeah. Just
He's,
pick a psycho murderer.
he's Jason in Friday the 13th. He just wants to be left alone in the woods. Teenagers keep coming around.
No, Sabretooth doesn't want to be left alone. He's actively wanting to.
Yeah, but he does some pretty sinister ways of murdering people. It's not like he's just, he seemingly enjoys it because he goes through some pretty interesting lengths to murder people in funny ways. So,
Jean Grey.
Carrie.
Perfect choice. You're good at this game. I like this game. Let's get weird with it. Beak.
All right, well, there's a new Swedish horror movie called Hatchling, which is about a girl who's finds an egg in the woods that hatches into some weird bird creature that starts like sort of manifestingly attacking the things in her life that are causing her a lot of stress. It's an interesting movie. I haven't actually seen it yet, but let's just say he's what comes out of the egg.
Okay. All right, last one just to break your Morrison brain. Phantom X.
Oh, jeez. Well,
He's
What's
like
a
too
fu-
convoluted to even.
what's
be in a horror
what's a
movie.
fun movie? What's a fun movie where like someone from a government
The
agency
Matrix.
kind of runs afoul of something? That's not a horror movie.
The what one?
Right. So I said I'm trying to think of a fun horror movie where someone's like part of a government agency, but sort of like he's like a spy and he kind of walks into something horrifying and gets wrapped up in it.
Sort of Cabin in the Woods-ish, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. It'd be something like Minority Report, but that's not really a horror movie either. Give me a minute to think about it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Something like one of these psychological horrors, right?
Yeah, probably like something to be in the Criterion Channel. One of those sort of horror movies. Horror movies. Something. There's something on the tip of my tongue. Nah. Oh, I know. What is that movie? Give me a minute.
We've stumped him.
No. I mean, I could just say anything and you wouldn't know. But
It's
let's see. Phantom X would be fun because he's sort of an outsider when he comes to town. And so, you know what I put him in? The Fog.
Okay.
He would be Tom Atkinson's character. He comes to town. He's just trying to get away, and then gets wrapped up in this crazy pirate ghost conspiracy. It's a great movie.
The Fog was okay. I thought I'd like.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you if you talk bad about The Fog.
Well, you've heard my hold up episode on that. I just wasn't as impressed with it as I wanted to be.
Well, you're crazy.
I like Fog. I like Lighthouses. I like John Carpenter. I was like, this is gonna be the shit. And
It's pretty great, man. You're crazy.
I'll go back and watch it again. It just wasn't scary. It was kind of atmospheric and whatnot, but I don't even know if I'd go so far as to call it a horror movie. Take us to a Halloween movie, Andre.
Whoa. The only way to bring you to a Halloween movie is to bring you to one of the best Halloween movies, and one that is not often talked about within Halloween movies, but one that certainly deserves attention. I'm going to suggest you watch Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The one that does not contain Michael Myers, but is an
that was
excellent
surprisingly good.
horror movie on its own right and a lot of fun.
It was supposed to not be a Michael Myers
Nope.
series.
John Carpenter, basically his plan was that Michael Myers' story was done in the first two movies. then he wanted to make the Halloween series an anthology series. So every year it'd be a new horror movie with a new concept that, would completely devoid of the previous one and would explore all kinds of fun, interesting new stuff. I wish I lived in the world where the parallel universe where that got to happen, because if I got new movies like this every year from John Carpenter every other year, I'd be a very happy boy. So unfortunately we did not, but this was written by Carpenter, not directed by him, but it's directed by Tommy
Wiseau.
Tommy Lee Wallace. But it's fantastic. Yeah, Tommy Wiseau. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Tom Atkinson's in it. And the guy from do you ever watch
Pleasance wouldn't be in it then if there's no Michael Myers.
No. It's totally devoid of that. Dan O'Herlihy, who was the main guy in RoboCop, like the main bad guy at the top of the tower
Oh yeah.
But he was also in Twin Peaks. He played oh my god, my brain. The Andrew, the secret brother that everybody thought was dead that comes back later, the older fella. He's also in The Last Starfighter. He's the alien that befriends the main character. And he's cool. It's cool. It's a really cool movie with a really cool concept about these masks that will be part of some ancient ritual. All the kids that buy this mask, if they're wearing it at a certain time at Halloween and see a certain broadcast on TV, it'll melt them into goo. And this guy discovering the conspiracy and trying to stop it. And it's very good. And one of the catchiest theme songs in horror movies. 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Which, if you think about it, is actually just a song from London Bridge just falling down. It's literally the exact same tune, just given new words. But it's catchy. And it's a really fun movie. Yeah.
You gotta love it. All right. Yeah, that's a good choice. You know what? Just because Sam mentioned it earlier, go check out some Universal Monsters, man. Go check that. And you know what? I Walked with the Zombies.
I was going to say, but I Walked with the Zombie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, go check that out. It's like, I would recommend Overlord, but I'm not gonna for Halloween because I'm 2/3 or more through that movie, and it's maybe just starting to become a horror movie. It's just a war movie, and then
I think
they're gonna come at the end.
But barely. I would this is a very odd choice for a zombie movie because
Murphy does this every time. You know, Murphy stretches these picks.
I do. But there's not a lot of zombiness in this. A little bit. It's almost like, remember the first the first few minutes of 28 Days Later, where you first after he's out of the coma and he first figures out what zombies are and they're chasing him around for a bit. It's like that in the last 5 minutes of the movie, and that's about as much zombie as you get.
Yeah, well, I'm not there yet, so
it's not. I would hesitate.
It's not a bad war movie.
No, it's a good. I would hesitate to call it a zombie movie, but it's a good and fun movie. So
yeah, but I Walk with a Zombie is a zombie movie, but not in the way you're thinking of zombies.
Well, it's in the original way you define zombies, which is the Haitian voodoo.
Which is
another one that would have been more accurate and interesting would have been Serpent in the Rainbow, which was by Wes Craven and based on a book by anthropologists that went to Haiti and studied these rituals. The movie, of course,
gotta check that out.
The movie, of course, is way different than the book. It's not very sensitive towards the people of Haiti, but it's an interesting movie nonetheless. Bill Pullman's in it. It's pretty fun.
And you know what I'm going to suggest for a little horror fun? Did you ever see? I think it's Pet Shop of Horrors. It's with Vincent Price and Boris Karloff, or what is it called? Oh, what is that movie?
It's definitely not Pet Shop of Horrors.
No, it's not Pet Shop of Horrors. Continue what you're saying. I'll find it.
Is it the one with the Raven? The one where they're they're competing magicians? It has very little to do with the actual Edgar Allan Poe movie.
No, in this one, Boris Karloff plays his father-in-law, Vincent Price's father-in-law.
Really? When did you watch this?
Probably 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Comedy of Terrors. Yeah, I know that one. Yes, the one. It's got
awesome movie.
It's got a bunch of comedy people in it. Basil Rathbone's in it too. The guy that played a million was Sherlock Holmes in a million Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, Peter Lorre's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Go check it out. Karloff's character never really knows where he is. He's super senile, and every now and then he'll just say something kind of super out of the super hilarious because it doesn't make sense in context of what's going on in the scene.
Oh, that does sound fun.
It's pretty good stuff. Comedy of Terrors. Check that out.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much done here. So let's figure out what our homework's gonna be for. Well, we don't know. We don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Next week's episode is up in the air. I gotta
Oh,
things here.
this is news to me.
Yeah, I'll let you know in the next couple of days what's going on. We'll either be reviewing X-Men Evolution Episode 5, or we'll be chatting with some directors of X-Men Evolution. So we'll see here.
Oh, you're still figuring that out?
Just trying to lock down the dates.
Well, if you do watch the episode, in the meantime, it's called Speed and Spike.
Oh, yep. We're going to see Quicksilver and Spike for the first time. You're going to get to see Quicksilver as a villain, running around high school being a turd face. And we'll get to see Spike, the character created just for this show.
Oh, really? He's created just for the show? That's funny. Did he make it into the regular Marvel Universe afterwards?
Not that I know of. It's one of the things I want to ask Frank Poor and Stephen E. Gordon about is kind of what they were told about this character, what was the impetus of creating it, that kind of thing. So, yeah. We got some interesting stuff coming up here on X-Rated, the X-Men Animated Review Show.
Sure do.
But, enjoy your Halloween, everybody. You can support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show. You can get your merch at redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show/shop, or you just click a link on our Facebook so you don't have to remember all the shit I just said. Contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch if you want. We're, our audio-only version is wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. We are the gum that sticks to podcatchers' shoes. Please like, review, and subscribe. And check out ufpodcast.com if you want to check out our whole network of podcasts, such as
The Graphic Histories Podcast.
what's going on over there on that side, on our sister show.
Yeah, bunch of stuff. A new episode just dropped with Stefan Petruccia, who is he's worked on the X-Men comics from Tops, if you remember those when you were young, as I do.
Tops did a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah, they had Power Rangers book, they had all kinds of shit, which is pretty cool. The episode after that is with Steve Binu, who is a comic creator out of Toronto. He's runs Comics Asylum, which is like a comic news website, which is pretty cool. And Lulu. And then after that, we have my cat's coming in too. It's almost like you could sense Lulu.
Can you hear Lulu?
Well, I probably can't. But visit me.
Or whoever's from.
It's Lebowski. He's the one who usually comes and visits. Ripley doesn't really come in when I'm doing these. Sometimes she does the Lebowski's in. She'll follow him. She likes his little shadow. Follows him everywhere. And then after that, it is Mark McKenny, McKenna, who was an inker, mostly inker, but started out as an artist for Marvel. And we have a long chat about. He worked between Marvel and DC, and yeah, cool guy. Really great chat.
Good art too. Yeah, right on. Well, I guess that's all there is to say, other than, have a spooky Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, enjoy your Halloween.
It's the best time of the year.
Hopefully you get lots of trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
Do you get trick-or-treaters where you are?
Well,
is this your first time in the new house? All right.
Yeah, but we were talking to the neighbors, and they said they get like 50, which is
really
a lot. Yeah, like our last places, we'd get like 10, 15 maybe.
That's awesome. I'm jealous. We get like one. Maybe, and we haven't in the last few years.
All the elementary schools are just at the end of my street.
No, I'm super jealous. I wish I got a bunch of kids. It'd be nice.
Oh, come hang out on Halloween with me. You're welcome to do so.
I already made a plan to watch movies with friends, but if it wasn't,
podcasting at like 10 at night.
What? Jesus, you and your podcast.
Cousin Dave podcast about Star Trek alone.
I mean, you could.
And I love Lower Decks, and we're talking Lower Decks.
Has the new season started that yet?
Yeah. That's what we're reviewing.
Oh, when did it start? Did it just start?
Last week they dropped the first 2 episodes.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm gonna have to. This is the last season, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that because.
Theories about that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to download those because I do like that show too.
Oh, that's a good show.
Oh yeah, season 1, season 2.
You just settle down there, Lulu.
Oh, this is like a squeak toy.
She's
Felt like you squeezed her.
She's funny. I did a little bit.
What a happy cat. Adorbs.
Talks a lot. She's always just like, meow, meow.
Oh man, so I love that she's so acclimated. She's great.
Well, she still hisses at the other cats.
Yeah, that'll come.
It'll come. It takes a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Usually. All right. Well, happy Halloween, everybody. Catch you next time.
Next time.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.